All right, let's meet Lisa. So Lisa is the lab director at Big State University, and Big State University relies on state funding, which is largely based on performance. Big State University also feels pressure to reduce costs, but Lisa needs help, right? Lisa's lab enrollment is now 4,000 students annually. That's 500 more students than 5 years ago, right? We talk about this sort of growing demand. But Lisa still has the same amount of physical lab space, less funding to run the labs, and not enough TAs. So Lisa also teaches a different student today than she did 5 years ago. Today's students lack basic important science and study skills. Many have weak or no lab background from high school. A lot of that is due to the state funding being slashed at the high school level as well. Yet Lisa still needs to produce better results, right? So her lab course is a key cog in all of the STEM degrees that the university offers. It's also one of the most difficult courses on campus for freshmen. Many of Lisa's students struggle. Some just won't make it. Others who fail or drop can be saved, though. They fail not because they lack aptitude, but rather they lack proper background and soft skills. Right? So now let's meet Steve. Steve is one of those students. Steve has a high aptitude, but comes in without much background in chemistry. His high school didn't have a lab. Steve is still learning soft skills necessary for academic and career success. And Steve's study skills and grit are a work in progress, but they're slowly improving. But has Steve progressed enough? Because this lab course is happening, and it's happening right now, right? So how can Lisa reach all of her Steves? Across the 4,000 students in the lab each year, there are no shortage of Steves. So we're Smart Sparrow. My name's John. I'm a director of academic communities for Smart Sparrow. And here's what we want to produce with you, basically. Outcomes, right? Results. And this is an anecdote. It's an interesting case study. Any engineering professors in the room? All right, so this is from an engineering faculty at University of New South Wales in Australia who was teaching a mechanics course. And apparently, I'm not an engineer, but apparently at the front end of the course, you have to understand free body diagrams. If you don't understand free body diagrams early in the course, forget about it. You're going to fail the course. Everything builds on top of it. So what Ganga did is he actually worked with Smart Sparrow to produce just a couple of lessons targeting key misconceptions around free body diagrams. So he's tackling some of the high leverage content that's necessary for the students to succeed. He started out with over 30% failure rate. So over 30% of the students were failing this course, which is, of course, expensive to the university, it's expensive to the students, it's expensive to the faculty, and overall just very inefficient. But you kind of see how this ends up playing out here. In year one, he implemented those 2 lessons for the beginning of year 2. And he saw that failure rate drop down under 20%, right? So he was able to use a personalized learning approach through the platform to start to bring that failure rate down, started to see the high distinction rate go back up. Then, of course, down here at the bottom, you can see there were 3 lessons by year 2, 5 lessons by year 3, et cetera. So he started building this up as he went, right? And he saw tremendous results. So what we want to basically do, going back to Lisa and Steve, we want to help Lisa to better help Steve while reducing the various costs for all involved, right? So we talk about the iron triangle, right? The access, quality, and the costs. And the tangible benefits that we can offer here include cost savings for the department, the institution, and the students, but also happier and better performing students. You know, basically turning as many success stories out as you possibly can around Lisa's and Steve's at your institutions, which leads to more funding, of course, lower costs. And then also a proof of concept to continue innovating curriculum and active and adaptive learning. And we have all the delicious ingredients, right? And we got the sous chef. So Smart Sparrow is a rules-based adaptive learning platform. And we also build some of these next-generation simulations and active learning experiences that really matter, along with widgets and tools. But we also have an award-winning learning design studio. So, think of this design studio as sort of like the sous chef, right? But you already have the fully equipped kitchen and the head chef. You have the innovative faculty. Like we talked about earlier, we're not looking to replace the faculty. We want to empower the faculty to help faculty do their jobs better. so that more Steves can be helped. And of course, you have students like Steve, who are hungry for more personalized experiences. So some of these example programs, and I'm hoping some of you will stop by the table and talk about these, but just a few examples. We have this wet lab support program for undergraduate sciences. Actually, University of Florida Chemistry is leading the charge on this with us. But we also have, we have a full nonprofit network for biomedical education as well, called the BEST Network. We have inquiry-based learning builder, which is sort of like a case methodology, and then Student Success Network. And that's it. Questions? No, so pricing varies depending on the project, right? So oftentimes, particularly when you want to get started, it makes sense to start small, and we'll work with you to do a pilot project. But we'll do, of course, full campus-wide site licenses. But we can also work on individual products or work on building out networks that would be student pay models as well, particularly if you're replacing something that's a higher cost, so that you're helping the students save money in the process. Anybody else?
So you mentioned networks. What sort of support do you have for potential collaborations?
Yeah, so that's actually the huge focus that we're on right now. I know Tom talked about the trade-off between courseware, giving up freedom and flexibility to do that versus, sort of like a content agnostic platform, right? What we're doing with networks is basically allowing for the crowdsourcing of innovation. So building courseware, how can we get the best of both worlds? So if you can build courseware or have your most innovative faculty building courseware here in Gainesville, and you have the most innovative faculty building courseware in other courses at UCF, USF, University of Miami, et cetera, how can we make this kind of a community or a learning network, right, or a teaching network? And this allows you to sort of take courseware that you've built or that somebody else has built, make a copy, improve your starting point, all while lowering the cost of students, but allow you the freedom and flexibility to make it your own. So that's the idea behind our networks, and that's frankly where we're spending all of our time now. Anybody else? All right.